Ms. Cooper has been sworn and has identified herself as Marcene Cooper.
Okay. And Ms. Cooper, for the record, would you spell your first name and tell us your last name?
My first name is Marcene. That's M-A-R-C-E-N-E. My last name is Cooper, C-O-O-P-E-R.
Okay. And Ms. Cooper, where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed at the Wyndham Peachtree Conference Center in Peachtree City, Georgia.
And have you ever been employed by the DeKalb County School System?
No, ma'am.
And how do you know Dr. Walker?
Actually, I know Dr. Eugene Walker from having to associate with him being a DeKalb County school parent. I raised my nephew, and I had to speak with and vote for Eugene Walker, and I was a parent of the DeKalb County school system, so that's how I know Eugene Walker.
So other than your knowing him through the DeKalb County school system as a parent, do you have a personal relationship with Dr. Walker?
No.
Okay. Have you, and you said you had some children in the DeKalb County school system. Just tell us what years your children were in the school system.
My son graduated in 2009, and my daughter graduated from Columbia High School in 2008. My daughter graduated in 2010. My son came out in 2009. So from, I guess, 5 to 2010, and then I stayed on 3 years after my kids. I honestly just kind of broke away from the school system this year due to work and stuff, but okay. I stayed an active parent even after they were gone.
And you mentioned that you had a nephew in the school system also?
Yes, I did. He went to Towers High School, and he came out in 2010.
And were you involved in his education?
As well, yes.
Okay.
Towers.
And
Your Honor, if I could just ask the witness to speak up, it's
yes.
very difficult to
I'm sorry.
hear the witness.
Yes, my nephew went to Towers High School, and my kids went to Columbia High School. So I was a parent that participated in both schools, that was involved in both schools.
And you said that, could you just tell us a little bit about your involvement in the DeKalb County school system as a parent?
Well, I was a very active person in the PTA, and I wanted to make sure my kids were all involved in type of athletic things. And so I was more so on the athletic part side of the school, making sure that the kids did their homework before they went to practice. So I kind of was one of those parents who sat in the gym, made sure kids got their homework before they went to practice, because the coaches or the school was very big on that. We wanted to make sure they got their studies. So I was more involved on that end, and then I stayed as far as being able to raise money for the different programs of that nature, making sure that the kids who were underprivileged that didn't have or their parents couldn't afford, that we raised the money so they could be able to afford to play the sport, to be involved, just to keep the kids active and involved. So that was my role that I played. Then I became a part of just raising money for different programs so the kids could continue to keep going and do different things to cultivate them, so they could go to different states and play different teams. So I worked in the concession stand, so that I veered more toward that part of being involved in the school system, so the kids could travel. And some kids never left the state, but they got a chance to be able to leave the state based on us as the parents working.
Okay. And did you have a positive experience with the DeKalb County school system?
I did.
And were you happy with the education that your children and your nephew received?
I'm very happy with the education that they received.
And do you have confidence in Dr. Walker's leadership on the Board of Education in DeKalb County?
I did.
And did you ever attend any school board meetings or observe any school board meetings?
I actually went to I went once because I wanted to find out. They were changing different school things for the kids to do, and they were promoting Saturday school for the kids to come who were having a difficult time in taking the graduation test. And so we wanted to make sure that program didn't die out. And so I attended a board meeting to make sure that it didn't die out. And we didn't have to vote, we didn't have to do anything, but I wanted to hear just in case it was something that we as parents need to go back and tell everybody, okay, we need to get out, we need to make sure this stays, because it was very helpful for the kids to do that.
Okay. And when you attended that board meeting, was Dr. Walker on the board at the time?
He was.
And do you know if he was the chairperson at that time?
I am not sure. I do know that he was on the panel.
During the meeting you attended, did Dr. Walker conduct himself in an appropriate manner?
I think he did.
And you mentioned that you had gone to Dr. Walker about an issue with your nephew. Is that correct?
I did. That was my first encounter that I had on a personal, one-on-one kind of thing, and I didn't know who I needed to go to, so I started from the top and worked my way down, and he was the top. And so I spoke with him about my nephew, Xavier's Mercy, and he was involved in some issues at Tower High School, and we were trying to withdraw him, and then it was just a whole bunch of things going on as far as the principal go, and so I needed some help. And so I sought out who I needed, and I spoke with Eugene Walker, and I was very impressed at the fact that he didn't brush me off as a parent. He didn't try to send me to his secretary or whomever. He said, I will call you back personally to tell you who you need to speak with. And within a matter of hours, he called me back and gave me the person that would handle the school district that I needed to speak with on that level of what person I needed to deal with. And he did that personally, and I thanked him. And then he followed up with me a week later personally to find out if my situation had been resolved.
So when he got back to you, did he refer you to someone in the district administration office?
He did.
Okay.
He did.
And you were able to work with that person in resolving your problem?
I was.
Okay. So Dr. Walker did not, as far as you know, he didn't personally get involved in the situation?
Your Honor, Lee, at this point, she's got her own directive.
Okay,
Well, go ahead and say that question again. Let's let her finish the question.
okay. As far as you know, did Dr. Walker get involved personally involved in trying to resolve your issue at the school level?
That question I don't think is legal. Go ahead.
No. He got involved as far as making sure that I got directed to the right person to solve my issue. But as far as telling me what rights or what should happen or what this is the route, he allowed the person that he directed me to give me the advice I needed. But he did find the person that I needed. He led me in the right direction as a parent. I was very impressed by that.
And are you aware? Are you aware that Dr. Walker was removed from the school board by the governor?
Yes, I am.
And do you believe that Dr. Walker should not have been removed?
No, I don't think he should.
I don't have any additional questions.
All right. Cross-examination.
Give me 1 second, Your Honor. Ms. Cooper, I'm Russ Willard with the State Attorney General's office. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. You?
I'm doing well. As a preliminary matter, let me tell you, as someone who is a parent of school children and the relative of educators, I'm appreciative of the fact that you stayed involved in the school system even after your children have graduated. I did want to ask you a couple of questions in regards to, as a parent or member of the community or in any capacity, did you have any involvement with the grand jury investigation of the DeKalb County School Board?
I did.
Did you have any involvement in the KPMG audit of the school system's finances? Did you have any role in the SACS investigation of the school system?
I did not.
Do you currently participate in the working group working to address the recommended action items for SACS?
I do not.
Okay. The last question concerns the contact that you had with Dr. Walker about, I believe it was your nephew.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to be careful. As the aunt, I'm not sure you can waive any Buckley issues that may concern your nephew's individual record or any issues that they may have been having in the school system. But I did want to talk about your conversations with Dr. Walker and the school district personnel. When you were speaking with the school district personnel, to your knowledge, had Dr. Walker contacted them on your behalf to let them know that you would be calling?
No. What happened was when she called me, she had spoken to me that as a parent, and her words to me is that I got a message that a parent needed to be directed to the correct person to speak with on behalf of Tower High School.
So the school district personnel actually reached out to you directly. You didn't actually contact the person?
I called and left a message with whoever was in charge of her message board,
Okay.
whether it be a secretary or not. And then she asked me for my phone number. I gave her my work and my cell. She didn't call my work phone because I couldn't pick up my cell. And I saw the phone call across my cell. Then they ended up calling my desk, and she told me that she had gotten a message that I needed to speak with her in regards to my nephew at Towers High School.
Okay.
She never mentioned to me that Eugene Walker said I needed to speak with you.
Okay. Your Honor, I don't believe we have any further questions. Ms. Cooper.
Can you redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Ms. Cooper, you're free to leave. You're also free to stay in the courtroom.